with Fitness Center. Reflections of your success. Middle Creek, off Sheffield Road, 2 miles from the 123 bypass, easily.
Welcome back live with Coach Jimmy Satterfield this morning. Let's go ahead and get right to the highlights from yesterday's ball game at Paladin Stadium in Greenville. Homecoming 1987 as the Paladins go up against Appalachian State. And here's the toss of the coin. And again, you win the toss, Coach.
We win the toss, give them the football, and our defense plays good. I think they ended up getting 3 points. About the only drive they had really all day. It
really was, and they really about the only thing they were able to score after they got not good field position. Here's Darryl Gardner with a pretty good play.
Darryl made a big hit. Jeff Blankenship, Brian Allison, the whole defense played great. Adrian Dupre, Larry Grady there on the sideline.
So it's 2nd down, 9 yards to go, and Kelly Smith, who came in when Tim Stepp went down earlier this year, and Kelly's played great all year.
Played super. Bobby Johnson looking at the action.
So now it's 3rd down and 9 yards to go, and Blankenship's going to go ahead and break this one up.
Good defense by Jeff, and we stopped their drive.
So Bjorn Nitmo comes in for the field goal attempt, and he hits it. And this guy was really nailing him. That's a pretty long field goal.
About 50-yard field goal and gets them 3 points. About the only decent drive they really had.
And they only went 40 yards. So your defense obviously playing well. 3-0 Appalachian. Bagwell for 5 yards.
We get a good drive going. First drive of the game. We have an interception later, but we have several good gains here. The nice run by Kenneth Goldsmith. A good read by Chris Speaks. Gained about 8 yards.
Did he change the play at the line?
It was an automatic play. He goes either right or left. Another good run by Kenneth. He had about 50 yards rushing.
Was that the same play as the other one?
No, this wasn't an option. The play before that was an option.
That drive was foiled by an interception, so now Appalachian has it again. Sherrod Weber played well.
Sherrod made some great tackles, played good defenses, and improved every game.
So it's 3rd down now for ASU, and Brian Allison got his paw on that one, so he breaks it up, and they have to punt.
They punt the ball back to us, and we move the ball, but we can't get much going, and they get it back.
And again, Sherrod Weber, number 28, in on the stop there.
We hold them. They can't get a first down, and I think they have to kick us another field goal.
It was one of those drives that they get it in good field position and don't get a first down. And then this Nitmo guy comes in and sticks one through there. So it's 6-0 now in favor of Appalachian State. And here come the Paladins again. Speaks to Gandy.
A good pass on a rollout play. Steve Gandy played great, made several catches. Of course, a touchdown catch, and that's another good catch.
14 yards on that one. And now John Bagwell's going to go for 16.
John had some good runs. Gained about 60 yards rushing, and this was a good play. Good block there by Kenneth Goldsmith, Alex Albert.
Bagwell made a lot of nice catches, too, yesterday.
A good catch. We don't get much out of it. Probably get about 4 yards.
So it's 3rd down and 5 now for Furman, and it looks like this pass gets just about 5 yards right to Gandy over the middle.
Steve Gandy, another nice catch.
So it's a 1st down. Again, you're in Appalachian territory, moving the ball fairly well.
Moving the ball, we just can't seem to get it when we get down in their territory. Another good run by Kenneth. A good player for us on offense.
So that's the end of the 1st quarter, and Appalachian State's up on top of Furman by a score of 6-0. 2nd quarter now, it's going to be Speaks to James Brown.
James Brown makes a good catch, and they knock him out of bounds for about a 5-yard gain.
Looks like they hit him after he was out of bounds. Here goes John Bagwell, number 32.
They did a good job stopping our options. We weren't able to block them as well as we'd like, and we didn't run the option quite as good as we'd like to.
This is a 3rd down play. You needed 6. He got 5, so it's 4th down, and it looks like you wanted to go for it at one stage, didn't you?
Well, we had a play called. They looked like they had it defended well, and we tried a field goal, and it's disappointing we didn't make it. We got a field goal block. That's just poor execution on our part.
So Appalachian gets the football back. Brian Allison with a pretty good defensive play, and again, your defense playing well there. You are talking to your offense, and on this next play, Blankenship's going to almost make an interception.
Great play by Jeff, almost makes a big interception, and they don't get a first down, punting back to us. They punted probably 4 or 5 times more than we did. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over too much.
Mark Rudder with a decent return, getting it inside the 40-yard line, so again, you're within striking distance.
Good field position. We don't do much with it on offense. I think we may have another turnover in this drive.
Well, I think what happened on this one, you went forward on 4th down, didn't quite get it.
Dwight Sterling, another good run. Dwight had some hard-nosed gains, did a good job rushing the football.
So Appalachian State's going to go ahead and get it back again. And I guess with John Settle out of there, they got to use about 3 or 4 different backs to do what he did last year.
They do some of the same kind of things. That's the difference in probably the game right there. Appalachian made some of their short yardages, and we didn't make ours.
Another good play by number 28, Sherrod Weber here, breaking up the pass.
Sherrod had an excellent game along with a good many people on defense. Good pass rush. Al Peterson Philip Ferguson, and of course it's a bad throw.
And Adrian Dupree was in there. He made a lot of good plays.
I think Adrian batted that pass.
There was a punt, so Furman gets it back, and Speaks goes for 8 yards here. Got fumbles after the play.
Good option run there by Chris Speaks. We had some good options, we just didn't have quite enough of them.
That drive ended in a turnover, too, and then Appalachian State now moving it off the left side, and they had pretty good field position.
Sherrod Weber making another good tackle. Coach Kendall resting there, it looks like.
He had a big day last week.
Good rush by Brian Allison. Excellent hit by Kelly Smith, who's been playing good for us all year, plays on all the kicking teams. Another picture of it.
I'm surprised the guy didn't lose the football on this one.
Good hit.
They tried this little shovel pass a couple times on you yesterday.
It worked one time, but we played it pretty much after that real good. This is a good play here by our defense. Finally corralling him up. I think Brian Pitts gets in on the tackle.
That guy ran about 20 yards and gained about 1, I think. Now Pitts is going to come right up the middle and hit the quarterback right when he throws it, right there, and that just throws the pass.
Of course, it's a bad throw. Brian Pitts has played good for us all year. Jerry Booker in on the play.
They got another field goal, though, so it's 9-0 now in favor of Appalachian, so you get the football back.
This is Keith Moore coming in the game, makes a nice run on the option, gets about 9 yards.
Any reason why Moore came in at that stage?
Well, we weren't doing much, and we thought we'd change. Keith's a little better passer, and we thought we needed to pass late in the half. He hits a couple of passes, and we get a little something going.
That right there to James Brown, receiver out of Columbia.
We're in a 2-minute offense situation and didn't get the first down. A good play by Al Peterson.
Had a punt on that last situation. Austin Hamilton did a good job punting yesterday, though.
Austin had about 48 or so yards per punt and did a good job.
So it's 9-0 in favor of Appalachian State at halftime. There's the first half stats, and it looks like you're a little bit on top of that one, except for the very last one there.
Well, turnovers obviously hurt us. We had 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and you can see it there on the board.
So 3 turnovers there for the Paladins. And on the rushing side, John Bagwell had 43 yards, Kenneth Goldsmith 41, pretty balanced there. So that's not too bad, but at 9-0, doesn't look too good right now in favor of Appalachian State over the Paladins. We'll come back, we'll take a look at the second half highlights from yesterday's homecoming game at Paladin Stadium right after this.
Looking for the best truck deal in town? Your Nissan dealer's got it. With sensational year-end savings up to $900 on the biggest selection of hard-body trucks and rugged four-wheel drive Pathfinders. We've got to make room for the 88 models, so we're dealing on every truck and Pathfinder in stock. And now special factory incentives could save you up to $900 more. That means this could be your best chance ever to get the deal of a lifetime on a new Nissan truck. Get big year-end savings at your upstate South Carolina Nissan dealer.
Hi, I just moved in next door. Could I borrow a Diet Pepsi?
Sure.
Be right with you.
When you go all out for taste, the taste to go out for is Diet Pepsi.
You okay in there?
Here's your Diet Pepsi.
Thanks. I hope it wasn't too much trouble.
No trouble at all.
Diet Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
If you desire a custom home of timeless beauty, choose Jerry N. Marsh of Master Home Builder. Jerry Marsh combines quality, craftsmanship, the best in modern technology, and graceful architecture of yesteryear. He's now co-developing Middle Creek, an elegant community nestled amidst 8 shimmering lakes on Sheffield Road in Easley. For your dream home, contact Jerry N. Marsh at 269-0877.
Welcome back. In yesterday's ballgame, Appalachian State against Furman. We're taking a look at that this morning live with Coach Jimmy Satterfield, homecoming 1987, and getting ready for the second half.
Well, we moved the ball and got into the end zone the second half, but we just didn't do it enough.
What would you say to the guys at halftime?
Well, we just tried to look at what we were doing good and what we weren't doing good and try to improve on it. Of course, the defense was playing good. There's Richard Brakefield cheering the team on.
And here goes Keith Moore, and he's going to throw this one to Quarles.
George Quarles filled in for Larry Grady, made a nice catch.
Now, the clock wasn't working in the second half. I guess that threw the fans off a little bit. Did it throw you off at all?
Well, it's more difficult, particularly when you're behind trying to use the clock, but I don't think that affected the game that much.
Again, Sherrod Weber coming up well.
Sherrod making another nice tackle.
So Appalachian has it just inside your territory. It looks like some motion on that play.
Well, it looks like they moved a little bit. 74, I think, thought the play was going to be stopped, but they didn't.
Adrian Dupree was in on the stop there. Now Russell Rush, number 46, is going to be in on the stop here.
Russell's played good for us all year. Played a strong safety, a good tackle by Russell.
So you stopped them again. They had to punt the football back to you, and now Keith Moore is going to go to work again for the Paladins.
Keith Moore couldn't find a receiver open. Does a good job finding John Bagwell. Of course, John, like you say, made a bunch of catches yesterday.
I think he made 7 in all. This drive, though, ended it with the 4th turnover of the ball game, and I guess there's really nothing you can do in coaching turnovers, is it?
Well, we threw an interception, gave them a chance to have an easy drive, and they get in the end zone right after one of our turnovers.
Yeah, they started on your 13-yard line, so that was Blankenship stopping Doug Beatty, the running back out of Anderson, South Carolina. Some more good defense here.
Another good defensive play. Left side of the defense, Darrell Gardner, Jeff Blankenship. This play didn't look like they really got in. The player was stopped, and unfortunately, they called it a touchdown.
They went for 4th down during one stretch, one play in there, too. Were you a little surprised about that?
Well, it was pretty close. They have big offensive linemen. I guess they felt like they could get a short yardage play.
16-0 Appalachian State right now. Furman football, and John Bagwell again with another catch.
This is a good play on a delay. Kenneth Goldsmith makes a good block, and we get about 15 yards.
Did you plan on going on that little pattern over the middle there?
Well, it was a delay play we thought would be good against their defense. Another good run by Kenneth.
He got 7 that time, and Dwight Sterling.
Dwight makes a good run, a good block by Kenneth Goldsmith. Pete Cowan, he gets about 8 yards.
So you're looking pretty good at this particular point. Now Keith Moore is going to go again to John Bagwell.
Another delay, and John gets a nice run, breaks a couple of tackles, and we get a little drive going.
And again, it's going to be Dwight Sterling with about 5 yards here.
Dwight makes a great job catching the ball, hard-nosed run, just about 5 yards.
So that's the end of 3 quarters of play. It's Appalachian State 16, Furman nothing. You're driving the football well. 4th and 2 here.
4th and 2, and this is just a great determined run by Dwight, and we get a first down, something we needed very badly. Good block by Kenneth. Elton Bailey, 64 on his block, and we get first down.
He was determined to get that first down, wasn't he? A couple plays later, it's going to be Moore to Gandy for your touchdown, and for all intents and purposes, you're right back in the football game.
Well, we're back in the game since it's 16-6. We go for a 2, which is the obvious thing to do. We get it 16-8, and think we got a good chance at this point to win the game.
Here's a replay of the touchdown, and Gandy, who's from Valdosta, Georgia, has really had a good season.
Played great all year and filled in since we've had some injuries at that position and made a nice catch for a touchdown.
That was a pretty good catch, but I think this one might just be a tad better for the 2-point conversion. Tim Fox really went up for this one.
We really didn't have a play open that we wanted. Keith does a great job just hanging in with the play and loops it up to Tim, makes a good catch for 2 points.
So it's 16-8, and now you're within striking distance.
Feel like we are. The defense comes back, stops them, and we just can't get anything going on offense.
Nice little touch here by Keith Moore, so it's 16-8 in favor of Appalachian State, and you're going to have to kick it off to them again. And pretty good coverage on this kickoff.
We do a good job on our special teams. Kickoff, punt team, they do. Appalachian is great on their special teams. So except for that block field goal, we did a great job on special teams.
And they had a clip on that particular play, so they had to start all the way back at the 9-yard line.
Got them in a hole. Defense stops them. Good tackle here by Adrian. Philip Ferguson, Al Peterson. Whole defensive front played great all day long.
Here they try a little pass off on the right side, and Blankenship and Gardner right there.
Julius Dixon makes first hit. Blankenship, Gardner played good all year long. And we stop them.
And there's a little shovel pass again, and this time Adrian Dupree's right in on him.
Adrian in on the tackle, Brian Pitts, and defense is still doing a good job.
This was obviously a very key defensive series because you thought you can get the football back, you can go ahead and knock them off.
We stopped them. There's a good tackle here by Blankenship on their quarterback, and feel like we get the ball back, we want to be able to move it.
So they had to punt the football back to you. Obviously a pretty good punt because you had to start pretty deep in your own territory.
Had a holding penalty here, but Keith comes up with a great pass to Steve Gandy, and we get a first down.
Right down there in front of you.
One of their players got hurt on that play, I think.
And here's the replay. And again,
Excellent
Gandy was
pass.
open. The guy who hit Gandy got hurt.
He got, I guess he took a lick in the head there. I think he was all right.
So that drive stalled, and Austin Hamilton in with one of his good punts on the day, and pretty good coverage here by Adrian Dupree.
Adrian, Wade Sexton, 23, Gary Booker. We have good coverage. Sammy Cooper, and the punt team does a good job all day long.
Again, ASU really can't do very much. Russell Rush among the fellas in on the stop here.
Defense is still playing good. We stop them again, get the ball back, I think, maybe for final go. We can get another delay play. John Bagwell breaks a couple of good tackles, get a first down. We started on our own 10, so we had to get a little something going.
I guess there were a couple minutes left in the ball game at this stage.
About 2 minutes. We're trying to use the clock. John does a good job getting out of bounds.
He did get out of bounds there, but you get the ball back one last time in the last couple seconds. I guess this was the old tip player, isn't it?
Well, we just have one play, and we try to throw it up and try to make something happen. It's a desperation play, and usually that's about what kind of situation you're in, is desperation.
So 16-8, the final score yesterday at Paladin Stadium in Greenville. And here goes Coach Satterfield to talk to Coach Woods. And I guess when you look at those stats, if you just take that bottom row off, you got to feel pretty sick about losing.
Well, the bottom line is the turnovers, and we have 4, they have none, and they do a good job taking advantage of our turnovers. Unfortunately, we didn't do a good job executing and have those 4 turnovers.
I can maybe see how they can force turnovers, but why don't they lose the football at all?
Well, they don't do some of the things, you know, offensively that would create a lot of turnovers. They don't run many options. They throw very conservative passes. We couldn't move the ball very good trying to do those kind of things. They've got big linemen, and they can get by with handing it to their big backs and just try to get 3 and 4 yards. It'd be very difficult for someone like us to do that, not having big people. But they do a good job with their offense and defense, and that's their game.
What's the mood on the football team this morning? You have any idea?
Well, we got an open date, and it's probably at a good time. We're going to take a couple of days off. We got a JV game tomorrow at Paladin Stadium versus Georgia. Our JV's undefeated, and we'll go out and watch them play and regroup Tuesday. All
right, very good. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about that JV ball game as well as yesterday's ball game against Appalachian State. And we'll take a break. We'll come back in just a minute, so stay with us.
Looking for the best deal on a new luxury car? Your Nissan dealer's got it. With sensational year-end savings on all Stanzas and Maximas, we've got the best selection ever of quality-built Nissan cars, and we've got to move them fast. Come in now, and we'll sweeten the deal with factory incentives that could save you up to $700 on Stanzas or up to $900 on Maximas. Big selection, year-end savings, and factory incentives. Get the deal of a lifetime. Get big year-end savings at your upstate South Carolina Nissan dealer.
I'll have a burger with everything and a large fries.
You need a drink?
Yeah, a Coke. I meant a Pepsi.
If you want great refreshment, just say what you mean.
I meant that 2 Pepsis.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Looking for a great deal on the hottest sports car around? Your Nissan dealer's got it. With big year-end savings on the sensational Pulsar NX with a powerful 16-valve engine. And right now we've got the biggest Pulsar selection ever. So we've got to make you a great deal. Come in now and we'll sweeten the deal with factory incentives that could save you up to $500 more. Big selection, year-end savings, and factory incentives. This could be your last chance to get a great deal on the hot new Pulsar. Get big year-end savings at your upstate South Carolina Nissan dealer.
Well, despite yesterday's loss against Appalachian State, this has still been a pretty good season for the Furman football program. A very good season so far defensively for the Paladins. And it's been a good season, too, for running back John Bagwell, who has developed into perhaps the #1 running back in the Southern Conference so far this season.
Last year wasn't a very good one for Bagwell. He was coming off a great performance in the 1985 National Championship game. But then he tore up his knee prior to the '86 season.
I feel real good about myself now. It was a lot slower coming back than I expected, but I feel real good about myself now.
Why was it slower coming back than expected?
I think it was the hits. I just wasn't used to coming off the hits, and just a year and a half, I just didn't realize how much out of it you can get in that time.
Speaking of hits, Bagwell takes a lot of them. In fact, he takes a pretty good one each time he touches the football.
Well, especially last week, I took some bad knocks, but they're out hitting hard. It's a hard conference this year.
Bagwell is the latest in a good string of running backs at Furman. Stanford Jennings was the conference player of the year 3 straight years. He's the only player to ever accomplish that. And then Robbie Gardner moved into the spot and had 2 1,000-yard seasons. And now there's Bagwell.
Did you really think that, coming into this season, you can have the season so far that you've been having?
Yeah, I believe so, because the offense is more experienced than last year, and I felt like the offensive line is really coming around. So I felt like, the yards would come for all positions, fullback and tailback. The offensive line, they really pride themselves on trying to get it back over 1,000 yards each year, which we've done for the last 6 years.
All right, John Bagwell, of course, number 32 for Furman. Talk a little bit about what he's done so far this season for your football team.
Well, we've led the conference going in the last week in rushing the football, which we take a lot of pride in. Of course, our offensive linemen take a lot of pride in having the back to lead the conference in rushing, which John did before this past week's game. And Jimmy Neal does a good job with our offensive line, and John and Dwight Sterling, and of course a boy named Richie Harris. All three are good tailbacks and do a good job for us.
Now, John's not the biggest guy in the world, and by far, I guess he's not the fastest. How does he do it?
Well, John's a hard-nosed player. He gets a lot out of his ability. He's not a fast player, but he's a rugged individual, breaks tackles, and he and Dwight are similar type tailbacks.
I think it's ironic, too, that Stanford Jennings, who we talked about in that piece, and John came from the same high school program, too.
Of course, Somerville is one of the best programs in the state. They both played there, and Stanford Jennings, obviously one of the best players ever to play in the Southern Conference.
Next week's an off week. What are you going to, how do you approach an off week?
Well, we got an off week. We'll do similar as we've done in the past in an off week. We'll let them have Monday off, watch the JV game like we mentioned before. We'll practice on Tuesday light, have a workout on Wednesday and Thursday, take the weekend off, and get ready to start again on next Sunday.
Okay, very good. And we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks for the Paladins on this Sunday morning, right after you watch this.
In a recent survey of automobile quality, these two cars got the same excellent rating. The manufacturer of this car was rated #1 in quality among Europeans. The manufacturer of this car was rated #1 in quality among the Japanese. This car costs over $64,000. The Sentra costs about $6,400. Nissan puts quality in your price range. See your upstate South Carolina Nissan dealer today.
Bob G. Sexton and Alva Goodwin are master home builders. Their reputation for excellence began with beautiful custom homes in Morgan Wood and Holly Tree, continued in Shaughnessy and Collins Creek, and today in Riverwalk and throughout the upstate. Bob G. Sexton and Company Incorporated is now co-developing Middle Creek, an elegant planned community nestled amidst 8 shimmering lakes on Sheffield Road in Eastlake. For your dream home, contact Bob G. Sexton and Company Incorporated at 269-7505.
All right, again, no football game coming up next Saturday, but a pretty big football game coming up tomorrow night in Greenville, the JV team against Georgia.
Well, they played them in Georgia last year and beat them. Bobby Lamb's done a good job with their JV program, and they'll play 7